In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to customize and track assessments to be exactly the way that you want to. So first of all, obviously you have your assessment frameworks, any subject, any language, whatever frameworks you want, and then you're going to need to decide how you want to assess them. Well, in Learning Ladders, you're completely flexible. You could decide that you just want staff to record a professional judgment at the end of every term, every half term for the subject, which might look like a child is on track, they're above, they're below, whatever language you care to use. Or you could choose to let the system do some of the heavy lifting for you and ask staff to use it as a bit of a mark book, which is the traditional way to use tracking systems. So when you do that, you can customize it to be anything you like, and this is something you can do yourself. It's super easy to do. So this version, we have 4 milestones, 4 sort of assessment points, and this is their descriptions. You could add on extra ones if you want to, or if you decide you don't like 4, then you can have less. You can have anywhere between sort of 2 and 7 in here. You can choose your language, obviously, so you can edit this within the system. You can choose the descriptions of the milestones, the abbreviations. You can even change the colors, and that will then populate throughout the system. But more than that, you can also not be restricted by the classic sort of legacy tracking system problem that it doesn't let you customize the curriculum, it doesn't let you customize the description values, but then it doesn't let you customize the algorithm. With Learning Ladders, you can customize the calculations as well. So you can go in and you can set the expectations by subject, because obviously they're likely to be different by subject. So you may decide, for example, right, okay, I'm going to go in and set my expectations for reading. These are the various different bands that I've set up. It's a coverage model, so this is going to give you an idea of based on the number of assessments. And you can even set the pacing of those assessments in here as well. So if you're in a part of the world where it's really challenging to get assessments done in the summer because there's lots of other stuff happening, you might want to edit the thresholds so that you change it and you say, well, actually, we're going to do a huge amount of our assessment in the first 2 terms of the year, and we're not going to expect to get quite so much done in the summer term because we know it's really disrupted. That's absolutely fine. That will then change all the calculations within the system and tailor the algorithm to your specific curriculum, your specific assessment policies, and your specific context. And you can repeat that right through every subject so that you can also reflect the way that you teach and the way that you assess each subject. If you teach some subjects in a sort of fairly linear, modular way, you can reflect that. If you teach some subjects in a more sort of mastery approach where you introduce concepts gradually and then most of the assessment happens later in the academic year, you can reflect that in the system as well. And you can even print off all of the calculations behind the scenes that are used to generate these judgments and put children into the various different bands that you've set up as a school. So super, super flexible. You also have the option as well to just use teacher assessment. So you may well decide that actually what we're going to do is we're going to go through here and we're going to have a look at what the system recommends, and we're either going to accept that or we might overrule it as well. So in this particular example, I picked a class, 6AH, we're looking at autumn reading. What's happening here is these are the bands that this particular school has chosen. We've got a recommended judgment here based on the number of assessments, and the school thinks that's fine, but I can just override it. I can change it because at the end of the day, professional judgment trumps everything, and I can add a note just to remind myself why I've done that. And you can mix and match. So what a lot of our schools will do is they'll use the calculated judgments for some subjects and they'll use the teacher judgments for other subjects. So the whole point of this is you're not beholden to a static system. You're not fixed to ridiculous metrics like a third progress across 3 terms in an academic year, which we know doesn't work. But you still have the autonomy and the flexibility that you can have the power of a system like Learning Ladders, but you can then still override it where you need to, so you don't have teachers gaming the system and putting in data which might not be as robust as you like. So that's how we solve that particular problem in Learning Ladders. Find out more and do a full demo if you like.